there's a way to make an entrance.
This is my destiny.
It was now a conspiracy of witches.
Download Veely today.
Tonight on the House of Tiny Tearaways.
It's just so frustrating. You want him to just be his normal self.
I'm a mum, it was my job to get her here safely. I didn't feel like I succeeded.
It's the penultimate week here at the House of Tiny Tearaways. Very soon, 3 new families will walk through these doors, all of them in urgent need of help from Dr. Tanya Byron. Coming into the House of Tiny Tearaways this week are 3 families torn apart by their children's behaviour. Clinical psychologist Dr. Tanya Byron is going to help them tackle their problems head on. With just 6 days in the house, all the families are hoping that Tanya can turn their tearaways and their lives around for good. And this is the first family of the week. Angela and Mark McArdle are from Aberdeen. They have 2 children, Matthew, who's 2.5, and Thomas, who's 6 months old. But life is anything but perfect.
Isn't it? We are having a battle of wills with our 2-year-old. Matthew.
He wants control of what he does or doesn't do. He wants control of what he does or doesn't eat. And he wants control of whether he does or doesn't sleep in his own bedroom.
I'm really sad to say it, but he is getting his own way with us. It's causing quite a big strain between us. And I think as a result, we fight. It's not serious fighting, but it's bickering and it's grinding our relationship down.
Ever since Matthew's been eating solid foods, he's been very determined. He's had a very clear picture in his mind about what he will and won't eat.
Matthew exists exclusively on a diet of Weetabix, bread and butter, the occasional yoghurt and plain crackers.
But we're just exhausted of all the effort that we've put in over the last 1.5 years to try and get him to eat normal foods.
Come on, pick up some scrambled egg for Daddy.
He's absolutely refusing to try anything like meat, vegetables, fruit.
No.
We've tried bribing, getting angry, being nice, sympathising, sitting at the table for an hour. I'm absolutely at my wit's end. I cannot get him to eat.
But it's not just with his food that he's ruling the roost. Matthew refuses point blank to sleep anywhere other than his parents' bed.
I can't actually remember a time where we've slept in a bed all night on our own.
I always do this sort of comedy thing where I disappear under my side of the bed and try and crawl around underneath the duvet to Angela's side, and I'll quite often be met just as I pop my head up with a whack.
And he's saying, "No, Daddy, no, Daddy. Daddy, lie there."
Daddy, go over there.
And he basically puts
me
Mark
back.
in his place.
I have to go back. Both of us are just very frustrated with it. Both of us are feeling like it's our fault, so we're blaming ourselves, and at times we're blaming each other.
We are so fed up of the confrontation that we just don't know how to try anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Should we go up these steps?
Up here.
No.
Good boy, good
I don't know if
boy.
you're allowed to go up there. Woo!
Oh, let's see
my
what's going
God,
here.
I can see lots of teddies.
Oh, it's fish.
Oh, cool. Look at the fish.
Hello. Yeah.
Look, Thomas.
Come on, look at these fishies.
Dyson.
Tanya has placed a sweep machine in the house this week, which is under lock and key, so every parent can decide when to reward or treat their children. Tanya is watching on from her office.
That's a lock, isn't it? Which one's Matthew? Is it green, yellow or purple?
Purple.
Purple.
And I like a purple.
No.
Well,
Not
maybe,
yet. It's
maybe
too early.
later. But you have to be a really good boy first and then we'll give you the key.
It's too early.
But you're really clever. What's this?
No.
Hello, how are you?
I'm all right.
Sunday's observation day when Tanya can see the dynamics within each family.
Hello, Angela.
Now that the McArdles have settled in, Tanya decides to join them for a chat.
Well, welcome to the house. Now, it's a big, big thing to do, and you're obviously feeling very anxious about it. So tell me, why are we here?
Well, Matthew, he just won't eat. He will eat very bland, dry foods, and I just cannot get him to eat fruit, vegetables, meat.
Right.
But he's always been particularly fussy about the colour of the food.
Right.
So it had to be brown, or it had to be a kind of creamy white colour.
And how does it affect you, both?
To start with, we were quite...
Well, it starts being a practical issue. It's really inconvenient, and then it moves on over time to being quite insulting for Angela preparing food.
Insulting, what, that you feel kind of cross that he's not respecting that you're...
Well, no, just I find it really embarrassing that I've failed in some way to not get him to eat what all the other kids...
So this is a big thing for you to come here and do this in this way then, because it's...
Massively.
Yes. Oh. Mark, do you ever do any of the feeding, or is it all... Andrew, is it all yours?
No, I do. We take it in turns.
Mark's softer than I am.
In feeding or in all aspects
in
of
all
child?
Aspects.
Probably in all. Angela says, I'd like him to eat a roast dinner.
or a barbecue, or, you know, like sausages
And
or...
OK.
I think I would just like to see him consider eating food. There'd be a negotiation. You can have a piece of toast if you have a carrot.
Right, so you want problems solved. You want...
He doesn't think
on the road.
He doesn't think that it can be solved, so he just wants it to go from
very,
this sort of blanket wall that we get at the minute.
Right. OK, tell me about sleeping.
When I first had Matthew, Mark worked in London during the week.
Right.
So I was on my own during the week.
Right.
He called me lazy, but I did take him into bed with me during the night. When it sort of hit 6 months and it was like, right, it's time for you to get out of the bed now, we used to do controlled crying with him. And you know how you do sort of 10 minutes, then you go back, and then next time you wait 15 minutes, and then next time you wait 20 minutes.
Well, that's a version of it. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do that, but that is a version, yes.
Well, it was getting to the point where it was like 2 hours solid.
Right.
You know, I think it's a combination of us being too soft, but for us, we've just found he's never really given it. He's just beaten us every time.
He goes to bed OK, does he?
Yeah.
Goes to sleep briefly.
Yeah, and then it's just constant waking during the night until he gets what he wants.
Which is?
Into our bed.
If he is ever sort of naughty, what would be your strategies? What sorts of things do you do?
Matthew, can I put this back on, please?
I would tell him off. And it's kind of a one warning, and if not, you go to... I've got a downstairs bathroom, and I literally put him in the bathroom and close the door.
And how long is he in there for?
About a couple of minutes, a minute and a half.
Right.
And he will stand behind that door and batter it and kick it.
Right. Would Mark use time out?
Never.
Never?
He struggles to do that.
OK. And how do you guys kind of deal with that? Do you and Mark,
We bitch at each other.
In front of him?
Probably.
Right. You gave us a bit of a look there, Mark. You're obviously listening in. What do you want to say?
Don't rubbish her theories of how to deal with it.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if we're conflicting on how to handle him, we end up getting cross with each other.
Yeah.
You end up getting cross. OK.
It's quite frustrating, and we're both quite stubborn, aren't we?
Can you take Thomas?
We both like to do things our way, and the problem Angela probably sees is that she's the one that's always setting the rule of what we're going to try next and what we're going to, you know. And I'm following her rule. So she probably doesn't feel like she's supported because the onus is on her to set the rules, and I'm just kind of saying, oh, OK, that's a good idea, we'll do that.
So your personal styles around discipline across the board are that you're more disciplinarian and you're softer?
Yeah.
Right. Eating, main problem, very stressful.
Stressful, yeah.
Yeah. And sleeping, it's a problem. And so what impact does it have on your relationship?
It's tough. I mean, we
just bicker. It feels like we're not working together
when it's all
as a
kicking
team.
off.
And you want Matthew eating a barbecue or a sausage by Friday? OK. Right, well, I better roll up my sleeves then.
Taxi.
Yeah. just kind of...
What do you think, Matthew?
Why don't we put these all together then, shall we?
No, that goes.
That goes there.
The McArdle family, Mum Angela, Dad Mark, and 2.5-year-old Matthew has the problems, and 6-month-old Thomas. How did you find them? Because there seems to be quite a few problems that they want you to solve.
The most worrying thing is when parents come in and say two things. One is, we want, you know, major change by Friday, which one parent has said. And the other thing that's quite worrying is when parents are saying very different things, which they both are. So I've kind of got your worst case scenario for a Sunday in terms of these parents, in terms of they're asking for big things, but they're asking for different things.
When people arrive with eating problems, they pray that maybe their child by the end of the week, it's often will nibble at a strawberry or will even touch a carrot. And I almost fell off my chair when she said, I'd like him to eat a roast dinner or a barbecue, nice big sticky sausages. Is she going to feel very let down?
We have had children in the House of Tiny Tearaways who have come in eating pureed food and who have left eating roast dinners. But you see, with Matthew, he eats solid foods, the dry foods, the brown foods, as we've just heard, the Weetabix, the crackers, the bread, the toast. But what I'm fascinated by is that his baby brother Thomas is currently being weaned and weaning very successfully. And I'm sort of asking myself, should we just regress Matthew massively this week and wean him with his brother? Or should we see this much more as a massive behaviour issue that needs a huge lot of exploration and thinking and put food to one side? I think he's exhausted. So sleep is, I think, the primary problem at the moment. I mean, forget changing any behaviour in your child until your child is sleeping, because lack of sleep equals grumpiness, equals mood swings. I mean, we know that as adults. I mean, big questions. And then there's the barbecue on Friday. Lord, barbecue on Friday. No pressure.
Who do you think those other boxes...
With one family already making themselves comfortable in the house, things are about to get tougher for Tanya.
Come on then, hold my hands, girls.
The second family are arriving. They're called the Bunyans, and they also have a child with a severe eating problem. 2.5-year-old Rosie Bunyan exists on a diet of sugary snacks and sweet things. She refuses to eat anything else. Rosie lives with her 5-year-old sister Emily, mum Lisa and dad Peter in Cornwall.
Rosie's never eaten a vegetable. She's never eaten a piece of bread, any meat of any kind.
It became apparent that she wouldn't palate anything savoury.
She's not had a hot meal in her life. We are worried about Rosie's immune system and obviously her development. She is very susceptible to chest infections, tonsillitis, ear infections. We believe that that's down to the foods. If she isn't getting the right vitamins and nutrients now, then I'm concerned that in years to come, she will really suffer.
But Rosie's sugary popcorn meals only sustain her energy levels for short bursts.
Within about 30 minutes, she'll hit a low, and all of a sudden it'll just hit her. It just doesn't seem right that she should spend a day going up, down, up, down, up, down. And that's what she seems to do until she goes to sleep, and that's it for the night. I don't care what it takes, because we're at the point now where it's really getting to me. And I'm really starting to realise how bad this is for her. Just love you.
Every mealtime is traumatic. And, you know, to see Lisa getting upset and Rosie getting upset, you know, it really does tug at your heart. We've tried the licking and the kissing of the food. We've tried to reward with, you get a spoonful of yoghurt if you eat this pea. None of them have worked to any great degree, if at all.
You know, you see our children, the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life, and help make them, and I need to bring them up properly, and this isn't bringing her up properly.
Hiya.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Angela.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Pete.
Hi, Pete.
This is Emily.
Hi, Emily.
And this is Rosie.
Hello.
Say hiya. Rosie's 2, aren't you?
Matthew's 2.5.
Mummy, look.
Wow, look at that.
Would you like to build a choo-choo train?
That's quite cool.
Hello.
Hiya.
I've seen you here.
Hiya. I'm Pete.
How you doing, I'm Mark.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Nice to meet you.
Choo-choo. Ow, am I coming? Am I coming?
While Rosie and Emily play with Matthew McArdle at the activity table, the two mums chat about their children's food problems.
My dream would be for her to eat a hot meal.
Yeah. Just,
anything hot. Rosie starts nursery next week, and it's just the same to get them to sit round the table and be the same as everybody else. Yeah. Well, we've got a 5-year-old that eats anything and everything you put in front of her.
We kind of feel, because he's our first, kind of feel like we've obviously done something really wrong.
Just feel very, very blessed for this opportunity.
Yeah.
You're probably exactly the same. Really, really.
A kind of cross between, oh my God, what the hell have we done?
Yeah.
And desperation.
Yeah.
After observing the Bunyan family, Tanya is keen to chat to Lisa and Peter about Rosie's food problem. But she starts by speaking to their elder daughter, Emily, first.
Can I ask you a question? Why have you come to stay in my house for a week?
Because my sister's not eating good stuff.
Isn't she? What is she eating?
She's eating bad stuff.
What's bad stuff?
Like popcorn and cereal and yogurts and chocolate mousses and cookies. Lots of sweet things.
Is it?
She was very poorly when she was born.
She's very poorly, was she?
When she was born.
Really? What happened?
She had blood in her eyes.
Was it very scary? So do you think that because she was poorly when she was born, that's got something to do with why she only eats sugary stuff? Or do you think that's what we've got to find out this week?
I think we've got to find it out.
So what's it like when you're all eating together? What does it feel like at the table?
We tried everything.
You've tried everything, have you?
She kisses stuff. She kissed a pizza once.
No.
And she kissed some cucumber once.
Right, and was everybody very pleased about that?
Yeah.
So she'll kiss it, but then what happens after she's kissed it?
When Mummy says something else that she wants her to kiss, and she just cries.
Oh, when she cries, what does everybody do?
Take the food away.
So everybody tries to just eat and be fine. Okay.
I eat all my good stuff.
You're a very good girl. You're a very clever girl, aren't you?
I have wobbly teeth as well.
No. Is that your very first tooth that you'd ever lived? Wouldn't that be exciting? And this is Rosie. Rosie Posey. Well, I've just got a very good history, really, haven't I? So everybody's obviously very kind of part of the problem. Everybody's quite concerned about the problem. Yeah, why don't you and Rosie could build a fantastic train set or something while I talk to Mummy and Daddy? What gorgeous girls you've got. Just lovely, lovely girls. Emily, who gave me a very good history, mentioned that she'd been poorly when she was little. Do you think that that's partly why you're sitting here in my house?
I think this is learnt behaviour. I think she's a very clever little girl.
Right, and why has she been able to get away with learning it, whereas her older sister didn't?
I'm the first one to put my hands up and say I probably have been softer with Rosie after the way she was when she was born.
So there's a big story around her birth?
Yes.
Which is traumatic?
I feel guilty.
Guilty?
Very guilty.
Guilty about what?
That it shouldn't have happened.
What, her birth?
Rosie. It was
birth
my job to get her here safe. I looked after her for 9 months. I feel maybe like I messed it up at the end, I don't know.
Is this all your fault? Is that what you're telling me?
It feels that I'm a mum. It was my job to get her here safely. I didn't feel like I succeeded. And then with everything that went on in the months that followed, the guilt, I still carry it. I still carry the guilt. I don't want it to be this way.
No.
And I want to look forward and I want to have a happy, healthy. She's healthy in every other way apart from her food.
What do you hope to achieve this week? Be honest with me. Friday when you're leaving, how are you leaving?
That really, it's that she'll eat one thing, whether it's mashed potatoes, something hot.
All right, sure.
Yep. For me, I think just to be able to chill with our children around food, it would be fantastic.
The families are having their first meal in the house, and Tanya is keen to observe the extent of Matthew McArdle and Rosie Bunyan's eating problems.
You want to eat it like that?
She has asked both families to offer their children a variety of foods that they would normally refuse at home, so that she can compare the way in which the two families deal with mealtimes.
Try some bread.
Angela and Mark are determined to tackle 2.5-year-old Matthew's fussy eating. Matthew has an extremely restricted diet, consisting of bland foods and carbohydrates such as bread. The couple are anxious to add some variety to his diet, and mealtimes often end in tears.
You not like that? Look at that, Matthew.
Take it. I'm on it. Daddy, have it.
ham on it. Matthew, that's bad. You don't take your food off your plate. No, no. Just leave it there. Just leave it there. Just leave it there.
Why don't you not put your lettuce in your sandwich like Mummy? She do? She did put a little bit of lettuce in it.
No.
Why don't you hold it? Hey!
But the problem is, Matthew, we'd like you to eat some strawberries. Will you try one strawberry for Daddy?
2.5-year-old Rosie Bunyan lives on a diet of sugary snacks. Parents Lisa and Peter want to get her onto healthier foods.
Look, you look at, see what Emily's doing, look. What does she do? You watch her. Did you see that? So Mummy's going to eat her roll and Daddy's going to help you with yours. OK? Look at my... No, you can have a drink in a minute, sweetheart, look.
Are you going to have a bit of food?
I saved you some soup. I saved you some soup, look. Just have a smell. A taste.
No, come on, what's that? How about...
Are you all right there, my angel?
How about you try a bit of cheese?
Nice. Doing a lovely job, aren't you?
You're having your bread, Matthew. You're going to finish your bread?
How about...
The cheese is yummy.
You're going to finish your bread? Look, a wee bit of strawberry. Bit for you? Please?
You must be getting a really big girl now.
Could you give it to Mummy then?
There you go.
Could you give it to Mummy? You pick one up and give it to Mummy. Feed Mummy.
Daddy feed Matthew.
Daddy feed Matthew.
No? Open wide then. Open wide. Be a big boy. Will you just lick it for me?
Oh, no.
Will you lick
Give
it?
a kiss.
Will you lick it for me?
No.
Stick your tongue out and say blah. No? Blah.
Having tried feeding Matthew ham, strawberries and lettuce for over 20 minutes, the McArdles resort to something they know he'll eat.
If you eat a strawberry...
What about the yoghurt?
Did you want a yoghurt?
You don't want a yoghurt?
Look, Matthew, do you want to have this one? Shall I get you a spoon?
And it's not long before the Bunyans follow suit and give Rosie a pudding too.
No, there's only one strawberry left on the plate.
No, you need to just try a little bit of this.
Matthew picked it up.
And then you can have your yoghurt. Take your fingers out, Papa.
Strawberry noddy. Did you want it?
Yes.
Look, I promise you, look.
Go on, you have your yoghurt then.
I promise you, see?
What did you learn from the chaos that was lunch? I mean, it just... I say that only because you've got two families and you're watching four parents. First up, the McArdles.
Well, with the McArdles, Angela sits there virtually smiling never. I mean, very unsmiley face, sitting there, you know, kind of... The expectation is pretty negative. And I think Mark, you know, he tries his best and he is quite soft and there's a lot of pleading and Matthew sits between them like the most powerful 2.5-year-old I've seen in quite a long time. So I think it's all about control, and I do think there are real issues between Angela and Mark for themselves as parents. I mean, I think this child is so controlling because he can be, because the parents are so split. I also think that little Matthew McArdle is being overfed on carbohydrates and milk. So he's never really going to shift his eating behaviour unless we address that. And I think...
Meanwhile, back at the dinner table, Emily has something to celebrate.
Where's your tooth?
Sorry? She's lost it.
Clever boy. Why don't you not show Tanya how clever you are and eat up your bread sandwich?
I don't believe this.
Good boy. Good boy.
I've been waiting for this tooth to fall out and it's gone.
But it's gone.
She swallowed it.
Probably eaten it.
Well, I shouldn't worry.
Let me see your mouth.
Give a big smile.
Wow!
Hooray, Emily!
Hey, clever girl. What a brave girl.
How difficult is it going to be to try and get Lisa and Pete tough on their daughter?
I think it's all going to be hard, actually. I really do. Because my real concern is, have we got two sets of parents who will fuel each other's anxiety?
Would you consider separating them at mealtimes?
Well, I'm going to separate this next mealtime because I think the only way I'm going to really see the interactions between the families is to have them in separate places rather than sort of watching each other. But I've got a million psychological thoughts up my sleeve. But
and 6 days and another family coming in.
With a difficult lunchtime over, our third and final family are here. Returning after their brief visit to the House of Tiny Tearaways last week, it's the Fletchers. Emma Foster and Jamie Fletcher are from the West Midlands. They have 2 children, Charlie, who's 3.5, and Madison, who's 22 months. Charlie is a bright, chatty boy, but outside the family home, he refuses to talk to anyone.
I think he's got something called selective mutism, where he's choosing not to speak in certain environments.
It was teachers who first noticed at his school, and they told us of him becoming silent, and not talking in class.
We've tried talking one-to-one, in small groups, in large groups. We've used puppets, we've used dolls, we've used objects. Charlie, do you know what number that says? Verbally just doesn't happen. He just doesn't talk at all.
There is not a problem with his speech and language. He can do it perfectly okay. It's like it's a mental block with him.
Do you do this at school?
Yes.
Do you do painting at school?
No.
No.
He's a bright little lad. Everything is really advanced. And he'll do the alphabet, and you get him in a good mood, and he'll start doing the alphabet backwards.
Is that F?
Yeah.
I do that.
Oh, very nice. It's really frustrating when Charlie, when he goes silent, because there's nothing you can do to get him to speak. So do you want to go to the gym after swimming? Was that yes or no? I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you. Was it yes or no?
Worryingly, it now seems that home is increasingly becoming a silent place too.
Do you want to help me fold it back up?
His mutism has got worse because he started doing it more frequently in the house now.
Did you have an asked at school? Thanks ever so much.
It's like it's becoming normal for him.
You done any? We try anything and everything to get him to be more confident.
I'm really worried about him because I don't want it to progress. I don't know how to help him overcome it. I can see how anxious he feels when people are talking to him and asking him questions and he can't answer them, he can't talk. And I feel helpless. I just feel helpless with him.
3.5-year-old Charlie Fletcher and his family first arrived at the house 7 days ago, only to discover that Charlie had chickenpox. Much to their disappointment, they had to take him home again. Before they left the house, Tanya was able to begin exploring when Charlie will and won't speak.
Get this one, Charlie.
78.
What's this one then?
33.
On their previous visit, Madison and Charlie were the first children in the house. This time, they're the last.
And what's your name, mate?
Matthew, this is my little Matthew.
That's Rosie, that's our baby one, and Emily's the oldest one.
Yeah.
Would you like a
Matthew.
We had lunch here.
Matthew.
Well, the Fletchers are back. The family have been brought here by Charlie because he has selective mutism. You saw last Sunday how he behaves in the house by himself. He was very chatty with mum and dad. He's arrived this time, now his chickenpox is gone, and hasn't said a dicky bird, has he? How excited are you, professionally, just to have them back? Because I know you really wanted to treat them, didn't you?
Oh, really? It's brilliant to have little Charlie and his family back. It's fascinating, actually, to have had the opportunity to see these 2 different Sunday entries. Last Sunday, he came in with his family first. So, quiet house, chatty Charlie. I mean, really chatty Charlie.
Do you want a cookie?
I came in less chatty with when I was around, would talk a bit to his parents when I was around, said a couple of words to me, but in a very regressed way, but nothing really specific. Now you see Charlie walking into a very busy house and saying absolutely nothing. Now this is very much like a classroom, and a classroom is where Charlie definitely won't speak. So this is a child who has an anxiety to hearing his own voice in public, and it affects about 1 in 1,000 children. And it is very clearly not to do with the fact that the child can't speak, or it's not to do with the fact that the child won't speak. So these aren't stubborn and willful children. It's very related to a child being anxious about hearing their voice in certain public situations. And that varies across children. And that's why with Charlie, we have to be clear what are his rules for when he feels comfortable speaking and hearing his voice and when he feels anxious. That you can use.
While Tanya catches up with Jamie and Emma, the McArdle family take care of Charlie as he plays in the garden.
Oh, he's not. Oh dear, what's happened? Is it? Bit of barging, I think, was going on.
What do you want to do then?
I want you to come outside.
I'll come out in a minute.
Do you want to go out and settle him for a couple of minutes with one of the other mums or something, and then do you think he might do that, mightn't he?
Yeah, he might do, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, come on then.
We should really recap, shouldn't we, about what the situation is, what the problems are, what we're looking to do together this week, what your expectations are. Your little boy has a condition called selective mutism.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, tell me how you experience that.
He doesn't talk at school, he doesn't talk to certain family members. It's unpredictable, he's got a pattern, but we really don't know, you know, what it is or how to move on from it. It's just so frustrating, there's just no other word, you know, and yet you want him to just be his normal self, you know, rather than, you just worry about him. I mean, he's fine at his age now, being at school, you know, not talking, but you worry when he gets older, you know. I don't want him to be the silent kid in the playground who other people can take advantage of, you know. 1 minute he's silent, the next minute he'll use keywords like more or here, you know, words where you can communicate with him.
With anybody or certain people?
No, with certain people. Right. I mean, it's like the words he uses, like with yourself. It's the same words he'll use with, like, his nana or some of his family members, or possibly, you know, 1 or 2 of his school teachers, you know, but it's very far and few between with him.
Here we have a little boy who, it's not as straightforward as he won't talk in the classroom, but he will talk at home all the time to everybody who he knows. Here we have a more complicated situation where we know Charlie will not talk at all at school. He will talk at home, but some days more than others. Charlie's rules of communication, when and how, are really quite important for us to understand. What are you looking for? Are you looking for Charlie to be speaking to anybody and everybody by Friday?
Yeah.
You see, now you know me. You can be really...
No, I mean, to work out his rules would be brilliant.
So what are his rules of communication?
Okay.
And
for him to... Just for us to have a pattern which we could follow. Just to learn more about it ourselves. Once we actually know what's going on in his head, then we can explain it to everybody else.
The House of Tiny Tearaways has opened its doors to 3 new families desperate for Dr. Tanya Byron's help. 2.5-year-old Matthew McArdle refuses to eat anything but plain food. Parents Angela and Mark fear for his long-term health, and the stress is putting their relationship under pressure. Lisa and Peter Bunyan have been pushed to breaking point by their sugar-loving 2.5-year-old daughter Rosie. The couple have tried everything and need Tanya's help with their daughter before it's too late. The Fletcher family are back to seek Tanya's help to encourage 3.5-year-old Charlie to speak in public. Mum Emma and Dad Jamie are worried sick by Charlie's selective mutism.
I feel helpless. I just feel helpless with him.
Still to come.
You're not angry with me that I made you come in here?
So that Tanya can understand 3.5-year-old Charlie's rules about when he will and won't speak and whom he's able to talk to, she set him and his dad a quiz.
See you later.
With the other families playing in the garden, it's a great chance for Tanya to observe how Charlie behaves at home without the pressure of strangers around.
Thank you. What colour are the bedrooms? What colour are the bedroom doors? You go and have a quick rundown and tell me what colour they are. Shout as loud as you can so I can hear you. I didn't hear you. A red one! Did you say blue? OK, what colour's the next one?
Purple!
Did you say pink?
No, I said purple!
OK, what colour's the next one?
Red!
Did you say white?
No, I said red!
Can you spell it? I can't hear you.
It's nearly 5 o'clock and the McArdle family are getting ready for dinner. At home, mealtimes are a nightmare for parents Mark and Angela, dominated by the behaviour of 2.5-year-old son Matthew, who refuses to eat anything but bland foods like bread and dry cereal. As today is observation day, Tanya is keen that the family try Matthew with some new foods to assess the extent of the eating problem. They've prepared him pizza and salad.
What's wrong? Okay. Listen to me. Listen to me. If you try some of this, then you can have some garlic bread. Yummy, yummy. Daddy, is your pizza nice?
Nice, isn't it? Yeah, lovely. Thomas, come on.
I'll give you some garlic bread if you try this. What would you like to try? A piece of sweet corn?
What have we got here? What's that? Let's try this for Daddy. Try this for Daddy. Try it for Daddy. Will you just put it on your tongue? Will you put it on your tongue? Right, Matthew. Try one piece of that. Look what I've got here. I've got garlic bread. Look. Now, will you try one piece of this? You try one piece of this. Try one piece of this and I'll give you this. One piece. Will you try this for me?
Come on, Matthew. Go on then, eat your garlic bread.
After 20 minutes of trying to get Matthew to eat something new, his mum and dad give in to his tears. As Matthew enjoys his garlic bread, Tanya joins Angela and Mark.
Hello, everybody. Do you mind if I join you?
No.
I'll just bring my chair around here, actually. Hello, sweetheart. You look a bit sleepy too. Hi, Matthew. Right. How is that for you?
Just the
normal. Normal.
Pretty much.
Stressful.
That's why we've sort of given up trying a little bit, you know, because you can't have every night like that. Not really. Well, I guess you should, but
yeah,
it's the whole brick wall thing.
He is so in control of this family, isn't he? Completely in control. To the point where he ignores you, which is quite something for a child that's so young. Yeah. But I just think generally you're worn out of this. You're just absolutely worn out.
I don't know how to take it forward.
Right, absolutely. It feels completely stuck. Yeah. There is a problem for me here, though, which I have to tell you now, which is I know that you think the principal problem is a feeding problem, but I don't. I think the principal problem is, A, that he is completely exhausted. And my concern is there's not much we can do with the food until we get him sleeping better. My headline for you is I think this is a major behaviour problem. which you're seeing at meal times and you're seeing at bedtime. And I know you want him eating a barbecue by Friday, but I think, really, there's something quite significant going on amongst you all as a family, particularly the three of you. We can battle away at food, but I think it'll just become a battle of wills, and I think, actually, we need to find a way of making the family feel lighter and you two feel in control as parents and next to each other. At the moment, he splits you right down the middle, doesn't he?
He does, massively.
And it doesn't look like it's much fun being mum and dad together.
No, it's not.
Until he recognises the two of you as authority, whether it's sleeping, eating or whatever it is, you're not going to get anywhere with him because he will always win.
With the McArdle family left to contemplate Tanya's verdict about their son Matthew, she moves on to tackle her second mealtime mission, the Bunyan family. 2.5-year-old Rosie Bunyan has been brought up on a diet of sugary foods and now refuses to eat anything that isn't sweet. At home, Rosie's usual dinner would be a bowl of toffee popcorn, so as the family sit down to eat pizza and salad, Tanya is keen to see how parents Lisa and Pete deal with getting her to try something new.
Yeah, right. Should we try eating some now, shall we? Yeah, try it with your fork, darling. Pick it up with your fork. Put your knife down. Why don't you try? Why don't you try it? Look, it's all ready to go. Why don't you just try? Try a little bit. Just try a little bit for me. What about this tiny, 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 tiny bit? Try a little bit for me. Just try. No, because you didn't eat any of this, did you? How it goes all crispy. It's a bit like bacon, doesn't it?
Mummy.
No, because you didn't eat any of this, did you? You need to eat some of this and then you can have one of these.
Why don't you want to?
Just try a little bit and then we can have that in a minute. Okay? Just
Mummy,
a tiny bit.
Tastes like chocolate mousses.
Pretty good.
Better than it has been.
Pretty good. A little bit of cucumber, want to give that a bite? Pardon? Well, I'm quite impressed with that, to be honest with you, because that's the first. She bit on a little tiny bit of pizza, and I'm very, very, very pleased. And well done. Well done, Rosie.
Well done, Rosie.
Good girl.
Well done, sweetheart. It's a chocolate dessert.
Is that okay?
Nice.
Is it nice?
Hey, good evening.
Hello.
Nothing like being locked in a room with your children.
That was fantastic.
Right.
She actually bit.
Right. Yes.
She bit a bit
I
of
have to
pizza.
say, I think, let me just get down it. I think that was fantastic because she did it under quite stressful conditions.
We pushed her further today than we would normally.
Did you?
Not nice.
You were looking very stressed throughout quite a lot of that.
Yeah. We pushed her far. I would have given in probably 10 minutes before we did.
Right.
Is that okay,
yeah,
darling?
you've been looking really stressed. Really, really stressed, yeah.
Whilst Mum, Lisa, is sent to the lounge to observe, Tanya works with Dad, Pete, trying to get Rosie to try just the tiniest bit of cucumber.
To get some yoghurt, you need to eat that. Rosie?
You can first of all get her to kiss a bit for a bit of yoghurt, then she could lick a bit for a bit of yoghurt. Be creative, take it in. Just take it out, because, I mean, just take it away. So she's literally just got the smallest, tiniest, whitest little pieces, and we can take everything else away. And I want to see, just kind of see how far we can get it in, all right? All right. Well done, you! Oh, that gets a teeny bit of yoghurt, yes. She's a...
So she's taking
Yeah,
it
that's... Good girl.
There you go.
Good girl, well done. Right.
Okay.
Do that again. Show us again how you put it in your mouth. Oh, let's have a look. Hey, did you do that? Did slightly less
Good
yoghurt.
girl.
I mean, this one she can have, but slightly less. Now, do you know what? The next time you put it in your mouth, do you want to go and look in a mirror and see it in your mouth? Yeah, come on then. I'll tell you what, let's take everything down here together, shall we? You're going to put that one on there? Here we go. Bit of cucumber. Oh, and... Right, put it in your mouth and look in the mirror. Stick your tongue out. Stick your tongue out. Good girl! Look at you! Who's the cleverest girl? Bless her. Show us a big smile. Yes! You do that again. Oh, it's in your tummy. Good girl. Yay!
After taking their first small step in tackling Rosie's eating problems, Tanya doesn't want the Bunyans to lose sight of the huge task ahead.
It's behavioural. It's not that she can't, it's that she won't. And what I saw there is she plays you guys beautifully off against each other. And you two are so stressed and anxious. I have to say, if I was having dinner with you, I don't think I'd want to put anything into my mouth.
Would you not?
No. But I think the fact that you two know that you've just done something in there, which is enormous.
Yes.
On Sunday, I think, Rosie Posey, I think we might be in a good space. What do you think?
A deal? Is it a deal?
Deal. What do we think? Roast dinner on Friday? No, let's not push it. All right. If she wants to have a bit more, then let her. Keep congratulating her for putting the cucumber in her mouth.
Absolutely.
Keep telling her how well she's done. And tomorrow the real training begins. Okie dokie, right.
Tanya knows that Charlie Fletcher will happily talk to his parents at home, but falls silent when in the company of others. She set up a typical school scenario between him and Emily Bunyan to start understanding his rules of speech.
Pink. What colour would you like, darling? Not if it's pink. Is it pink? Yes. What should we draw? Should we draw our families?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll draw our families then.
Two pink, so you can use a pink.
Thank you, darling.
Charlie can use a pink.
Do you want to say, Charlie, would you like to use a pink?
Would you like to use a pink, Charlie? You can use one.
How many have you got?
3. I have 2.
3? You have 2. Right, okay. I'm going to draw an animal, see if you guys can work out what it is. What are you going to draw, Charlie?
No.
Oh, no. Did you drop it on the floor? Oh, no. I just heard Charlie say, oh, no. Did you just hear Charlie say, oh, no? Did you, Emily? What did Charlie just say?
Oh, no.
Does he have a nice voice? He does. Emily thinks you've got a nice voice. I think you've got a nice voice. So this is 1, 2... Oh, no! Say it again. Oh, no. Say, oh, no, Charlie.
Oh, no, Charlie.
Good girl.
Charlie.
Now, you drop one on the floor and go, oh, no, and make him see if he look at you.
Oh, no.
That's it, and you look at him, that's it. Oh, no. Should we do it again? You play a game with Emily. Look at Emily. Ready, go.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, Charlie.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Have you had enough? Did you make your noise? You can have your crisps now.
Put a flower
Have you had
on
enough?
it. And put in a flower
See you
on it.
later.
Flower.
When all the lambs join in, bah! I is shivery when it snows.
It's nearly 7 o'clock and Angela McArdle is putting her 2.5-year-old son Matthew to bed. At home, bedtimes are a real struggle, as Matthew usually cries and tantrums throughout the night, unless his parents give in and let him sleep in bed with them.
Cuddle down. Come on. Lie down. Lie down in your bed. Mummy's just going to be here. Back into bed. Good boy. Do you want the door open or closed? Do you want the door open or closed? Do you want the door open or closed? Because if you don't lie down and sleep, I will close the door. Good night, Matthew. I love you.
At home, the parents have a stair gate on Matthew's bedroom door. Without one here, Angela is forced to return him to bed.
Night time.
An hour later, and with Matthew now asleep, parents Mark and Angela chat in the bedroom about their first day in the house.
You're not angry with me that I made you come in here?
No. We just needed to absolutely come down on him at some point, didn't we? And we've just been, I think we've just been busying ourselves with, we've just ended up being busy with.
I feel like we've just been surviving for quite a while now. You know, just getting by, doing what we can just to cope.
That's not bad. You'll be alright. Just
Okay. I've watched Tanya's programme before, and I know what she's gonna say.
She said it's gonna be like really aggressive sleep training or something.
For this bedtime routine, she's gonna say it's this rapid return, where the minute he cries, if he gets up and goes to the tour, you take him back to bed and you say nothing.
And you literally just keep doing that?
Yeah.
But was that effectively what you were doing tonight? Were you doing that thing tonight?
Effectively, yeah.
That's, I mean, to be honest...
We read the books, put the stairgate on and shout to him bedtime, don't we?
I've got to the stage where I'm almost legging it out of the room.
Yeah, I actually run round the corner.
To try and beat him to the stairgate.
Yeah, so do I, actually.
That's pretty bad, isn't it? So that I can hop over it in time to just run off while he's screaming. I mean, that's pretty bad. We're obviously getting something wrong with.
I gotta be honest.
Earlier, Tanya played a game with Charlie Fletcher to get him to repeat "oh no" in the house. Mum and Dad, Jamie and Emma, are reflecting on what happened.
If you'll speak to Tanya, because she'll really take the time out. Like, you know, she's doing now. Not every average Joe in the street's going to do that. You know what I mean?
I'm relieved that we're not in here with any, like, major behavioural problems.
Everybody's problem to themselves is serious. I mean, you know, them in here. But, you know, I think, God, I wish that was our Charlie's, you know what I mean?
You wish it was that black and white?
I do. I wish it was just that with Charlie.
Well, it likes to be different.
It's 10 o'clock and Angela and Mark are still talking about their problems with Matthew.
I'm just really scared that what we achieve here is hard.
It's almost as important to achieve things here as it is to take them home.
Yeah. It does seem tired tonight.
I mean, if we crack tonight, bring him in. I see that as a waste of a night.
Yeah, so do I.
Especially if we're not possibly not even going to get around to the eating pool.
Yeah. Maybe Matthew's going to sleep all night tonight.
That ain't sure.
Maybe we don't put him down early enough. You know, maybe he's overtired when we put him down.
Yeah. It's obviously going to be a major achievement if we can crack some of it.
Coming up tomorrow.
Do you feel that she almost died because of you?
It's a thought that's gone through my head.
definitely.
Matthew's going to say sorry to you, OK?
It's not your fault. It's not your fault. I have to say that to you so clearly.